that point, the depth chart was announced. You sent it to me.
Mhm.
I'm gonna sit here and start at wide receiver. I mean, I know
Okay.
we already know what's going on pretty much above that. We know Terry's number one, but Will number two is Luke McCaffrey.
Oh,
Okay. I mean, like I said, we trust them. We know they've been watching these guys day in and day out. We know the pedigree of the McCaffrey family. But is this a good thing that he's our number two, or should we be worried? Because it's like, wait, that's a rookie. Like,
well, it's it is week one. And I did hear from Ben Standig where he thinks that Noah Brown would probably take over that role, but Luke McCaffrey, besides Brown, is our next tallest receiver. And so that him and Diami, I think, are about 6'2", and so I think he might be 6'2". So it's like he brings some size, and so right now he is providing something that we don't really have. And him and Diami are the ones that are flip flopping, and they anticipate the fact that Jason Swade,
yeah, I saw that.
yeah. They anticipate all the receivers getting in some form or fashion and working them way in. But it's interesting. You can't tell if it's they've been working on this behind the scenes and just keeping it quiet and they know something, or is it more he's going to play this little spot, for this week, and eventually Noah Brown will take over, or who knows? I don't know. I think it's going to be exciting to see what he does.
Oh yeah, and honestly, and correct me if I'm wrong, but this kind of gives you a little bit of that. Okay, he is McCaffrey's brother. Maybe we got a McCaffrey. Like, oh,
exactly. Oh, totally.
So yeah, we're definitely geeking out a little bit, but at the same time, let's just see. To your point, he is the second tallest guy. Still something we got to address.
What's his number? Is it 12? Seeing if I can customize it for us.
Is it 12?
Yeah, I think it's 12.
Man, I'm happy for it, man. I was talking, as a matter of fact, to Johnny about it yesterday. Guy went to he started off as a quarterback. Did you know he started off as a quarterback and I think it was Nebraska, and then transferred to Rice, and then ended up changing from quarterback to wide receiver. So and that's what I was talking to Johnny about, is that I like those quarterbacks turned wide receiver. We know Randall L. We had him for a little bit. We know who's the guy for the Patriots? Edelman. Edelman used to be a quarterback in college, and transferred and trans over. B. Mitch did a little quarterbacking in college and stuff like that. So when you have that, and then you turn to a receiver, a lot of times you understand what the quarterback's looking for, how the routes play out, and everything like that. But I think what it goes to a little bit more is what you were saying, what you alluded to, is that we've seen the guys that are still here are guys that JD5 really gets along with, really kind of is meshing with. And maybe that's something bigger. We all try to put up depth charts by who we think is the best overall and this and that. But maybe it's that connection. Marty said, so you guys finally have a quarterback. Well, we don't know. We haven't seen him in any official NFL snaps as far as the regular season. But just by the fact that these wide receivers and Ertz and the running backs, all these guys are saying, yeah, we can run with this guy. We can play with this guy. That lets me know, yeah, we do have a quarterback, because it hasn't been that way over the last several years. You know what I mean? So to that point, I'm excited about that. But let's keep going down the list, because we also have a guy that's a rookie that's on the line, Will.
Yeah, this one shocked me. The fact that they, for right now, list Brandon Coleman as a starting left tackle, and he has not played a single snap in any professional game. Now, Dan Quinn did say they're going to test him I think today and tomorrow to kind of see where he's at. He had a shoulder injury in training camp, so he was staying with his conditioning, but he's not getting some of that physical work in, so that's a little bit concerning there. I think I'd rather see Cornelius and Lucas, but again, it's what are they seeing? What do they see that we can't? I think it's a little crazy, and I've sort of dismissed I've heard this. They're like, we don't know. Maybe Coleman comes back and starts at left tackle. He was in the spring and he was in the summer. I'm like, this guy needs to have some type of reps before you start throwing him to protect,
Right.
your prized rookie quarterback's blind side. So we'll see. But that was certainly a surprise, without a doubt.
Yeah, and like we've seen, they seem to be throwing some of these guys in and just saying, hey, prove yourself, and hopefully they do that. But to your point, can we hold off and let these guys prove themselves? We got a rookie quarterback. Let's keep him upright first, especially
there's certain positions to know.
Right, especially knowing where we came from when y'all did my quarterback Sam Howell dirty. It's got his butt sacked the most times than anybody.
Yep.
I mean, to that point, we need to make sure that we keep our guy upright. Unless, who knows? Again, we don't know we know a little bit of what they might be running, but maybe they're running things that are going to keep JD5 on the edge, so that won't be as big of an issue as opposed to with Sam, where you're doing the 5-7 step drops, having to wait till these receivers driving down the field and things like that. It might be some quick passes that might negate some of his inexperience. So, Alex Sand might just be trying him out because what we had clear wasn't working. Hopefully Coleman works out.
Yeah, absolutely.
We shall see. Look, let's go on to the defense. Cleveland Farrell starting at DN. But on the depth chart, it says Jamin Davis is his backup at edge. What? I mean, is this part of him trying to make the team, or are they just? What do you think, man?
They moved Jamin to defensive end. That's all he did. All training camp, working with Ryan Kerrigan, who's our pass rush specialty coach. That's all he did. So they put him and said, "You're going to be a defensive end. You are no longer having to be linebacker responsibilities." And they made it official by saying, "This is where we see you at," and this would be interesting to watch. He's a different player than Cleveland Farrell. Farrell is a run stuffer. Jamin's going to be there to be a third down pass rush. Part of me feels like I'd rather see Dante Fowler come in during that situation, like swap out Farrell for Fowler, let him rush the passer, and maybe we'll get into that. But that will be interesting to kind of see.
And speaking of Fowler, they have him an outside linebacker.
Yes.
So, I mean, clearly they and yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, right. And that's the other thing. And I'm glad you did that, because we do need to understand that just because this is what's on paper, or this is the official depth chart that they have, this stuff can be moved all around. And with how they play, I'm eager to see kind of how they do adjust and move everybody in. And I like this. I think they view Jamin as their Micah Parsons project. Okay.
I think in a way they're trying to see what can they get out of his athleticism, not in the same way they even talked about in training camp, and unfortunately, again, the fact that we don't really have like a Trent Williams for him to go up against, but there were times they basically said when Jamin could use his speed, and Johnny would kind of understand this when he talks about one of the Bucs guys who's all speed. When Jamin can use his speed, he can get there. But if he gets physical with one of the left tackles, if they can get their hands on him, he doesn't have the strength, and they swallow him up, which is part of his learning process. So, I think the idea, like Alex is saying, what I've been saying for years is you've got an athletic linebacker, you've got an athletic player. Find out how you can use him on the field.
Right.
And that seems to be what they might be trying to do.
And that's what I'm excited for, just to see them move these guys around and see them move these pieces, and not just have it 4-man line for linebackers and just make it vanilla and plain. Let's switch this thing up. Let's really throw some different things at these guys. So, what's up, Jared, in the building? Jamin is a first round talent. They got to see what he's got. Yeah. And you talked about it. Well, that's how you shake your head. You talked about it. He's got ability. You know what I mean? We know he's got that raw talent. That's always been what the jury's been out on him about. He's got raw talent. He can do it. But whether it's been Ron and Jack Del Rio just not putting him in advantageous situations, or he's just not living up to it, whatever, this new regime in here, I'm excited to see how they work him in, because and also if there's a sense of urgency, because as he's seen, people are leaving left, getting cut, getting released, whatever, traded left and right. So nothing's guaranteed. So this is your opportunity.
Yep.
Let's
Absolutely.
moving on. Obviously, Bobby, Frankie Lavu. We got Sammer Still, St. Juice, and Forbes all set up as corners. Jeremy Chin is strong safety, and your boy Quan is right here as a starting free safety. Is this it, man? Is this his opportunity to shine?
This is it. This is his year. Remember the name. I hope so. I hope so.
I'm ready. I'm ready for this meteoric rise.
Right? What kind of surprised me about our safeties was not, we knew Chin and Martin were going to be the starters, but then right before all this talk around cutdown day was Derek Forrest. And now he's sitting right behind Jeremy Chin, who, guess what? Jeremy Chin is also going to go in there and play as a linebacker. He's going to go play down by the line of scrimmage, and you're putting Forrest right behind him, potentially coming in and take over. Right after that, behind Quan, you've got Jeremy Reeves. All this talk was Jeremy Reeves is playing a lot in the preseason. He's probably on the chopping block. Guess what? He's on the 2 deep. You know, the guy behind him is the guy where I'm like, what do they see in this guy, Percy Butler, that they're not dressing him? He's listed third. You know, it's like, and again, things can be fluid. It's just week one. But that kind of stood out to me a little bit, just seeing those two guys as our backup safeties. Where you and I talked about it on the pre-cut show or after the cut show, saying like, why is Derek Forrest on the chopping block? We're not saying he's the next Pro Bowl safety, but is he really warranted getting cut? You know, apparently not.
Right. I do want to say I'm excited about the guy that you've been calling out all off season, Tyler Owens. Yeah, I know he's third on that list, but the fact that he's on the squad, man, that proves that they're giving these guys a shot.
Yeah, he'll build it. He'll build it. Yes, we do. What do you mean we don't want that safe? That's what Jeremy Chin's gonna. He thrives at the line of scrimmage. Yeah, I do.
You know what Will's favorite term is? That Buffalo nickel.
Yes. I love that position.
Absolutely. And all right, so in special teams, obviously Tress Way, we know what he's doing. Byron Pringle is set to be kick returner, and Jamison Crowder, punt returner, with Olamide Zaccheaus backing them both up. Kicker, Cade York.
Yeah, as of right now, they're going with him. All right. We'll see.
Let's see what happens. The revolving door of kickers. I don't want to. Look, hold up, Jared. This ain't gonna happen. And you know what? Hold your tongue, because when we play y'all, we gonna bring you on the show. You gonna have your chance to talk. All right. So, glad you came here to watch, man. Well, look, yeah. So, I mean, with that, we've seen the depth chart. Obviously, this is fluid. You know, it could move up and down. We know that they're still evaluating everything like this. But coming into the season, game day Sunday, this is the roster that we're pushing out there. What overall? I mean, does this make you excited, or does this just kind of?
Totally, absolutely. I mean, there, like you said, there are roster spots here. I don't love our corners. I don't know what's going on at left tackle. You know, there's holes. We don't have a legit number 2 receiver. As much as I hyped up Luke McCaffrey there, we don't have a legitimate other weapon other than Terry out there.
Yeah.
But we've got a strong coaching staff, and I'm excited to see what they put together. So absolutely.
Let's go.